What's up, Scoop Squad? Get ready for a whirlwind of news that's about to blow your minds. First up, we've got Violet Affleck dropping truth bombs at the UN, blasting world leaders for their inaction on COVID-19's long-term effects. You won't believe what she had to say. Next, we're heading to the set of a Dunkin Donuts commercial, where Ben Affleck is revealing the hilarious and surreal moment she met Ben Affleck for the very first time. Get ready for some behind-the-scenes drama. And speaking of Violet Affleck, she's back in the spotlight with an even more powerful speech about the terrifying reality of long COVID for children. Her words at the United Nations are a must-hear, and she's demanding action. Finally, we're diving deep into the incredible impact of Violet Affleck's UN speech, breaking down exactly what she said and why it's resonating with so many. You do not want to miss this. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell so you never miss a scoop. Violet Affleck's fiery UN speech demands action on long COVID. Violet Affleck didn't hold back at the United Nations this week, delivering a passionate and blistering critique of world leaders for their perceived negligence regarding the ongoing threat of COVID-19. She accused them of actively jeopardizing the future for younger generations by downplaying the risks and ignoring the persistent dangers of the virus. Affleck highlighted the stark contrast between leaders calling her generation the future while simultaneously failing to protect them in the present from the continued risks of COVID-19. She specifically called out the push to return to normal, stating it comes at the cost of ignoring, downplaying, and concealing crucial information about airborne transmission and the debilitating effects of long COVID. Citing research attributed to Dr. Akiko Iwasaki of the Yale School of Medicine, Affleck pointed to the alarming statistic that long COVID has now surpassed asthma as the most common chronic illness among children aged 5 and younger, effectively turning the entire global population into an uncontrolled experiment. Her powerful closing statement, "It is a neglect of the highest order to look children in the eyes and say, 'We knew how to protect you, and we didn't do it,'" underscored the gravity of the situation. The public reaction has been swift and supportive, with many praising Violet Affleck's bravery and the clarity of her message. Social media is buzzing with discussions about the need for greater awareness and preventative measures, especially for young people. This isn't the first time Affleck has used her platform. She previously urged the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors to maintain mask mandates in hospitals and has been a consistent advocate for masking and public health measures, even revealing her own ongoing struggles with a post-viral condition since 2019. But how does this powerful stance on public health connect to the glitz and glamour of Hollywood? Stay tuned as we uncover a surprising encounter involving another Affleck. Ben Affleck's hilarious tale of meeting Ben Affleck. Get ready for a laugh. Ben Affleck, star of Dancing with the Stars and The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, is sharing the unforgettable story of her first meeting with none other than Ben Affleck. And yes, it happened during a Dunkin Donuts commercial shoot. Jen recounted the surreal experience of filming alongside Ben Affleck, admitting that both she and her husband, Zac Affleck, were initially starstruck. She described her husband's nervous anticipation before meeting the Argo director, only for the moment to become a whirlwind of excitement once Ben walked into their trailer. The reality star revealed that while she and Ben share the same last name, though they're not actually related, a fact they initially thought was true, the encounter was incredibly lighthearted. She even joked about calling herself the value of folk in the commercial, a playful jab that Ben overheard. The commercial itself featured a humorous exchange where Jen jokingly calls Ben dated, leading to a funny reaction from him. Adding to the star power, one of Ben's daughters reportedly visited the set, eager to meet Jen, highlighting the fun and friendly atmosphere. Fans on social media have been loving Jen's candid storytelling, with many finding the mix of celebrity and everyday moments incredibly relatable. The Dunkin' ad has also seen a surge in attention, with viewers rewatching the commercial to catch the chemistry between Jen and Ben. The interaction underscores a shared appreciation for engaging in fun, pop culture-driven projects. From surprising celebrity encounters to urgent calls for action, we've got more powerful messages coming your way. Next up, Violet Affleck's UN speech gets an even deeper dive. Violet Affleck's terrifying warning on long COVID at the UN. Violet Affleck, at just 19, delivered a profoundly moving and frankly terrifying speech at the United Nations, focusing on the devastating impact of long COVID on children. As a youth advocate, she pleaded for universal access to clean indoor air and the consistent use of masks, painting a grim picture of a future stolen from the youngest generation. Affleck articulated the feeling of helplessness experienced by young people who are told they are the future but whose present is being compromised by the ongoing pandemic. She criticized the societal pressure to return to normal, which she believes involves actively ignoring, downplaying, and concealing the airborne nature of the virus and the severe threat of long COVID. Referencing Dr. Akiko Iwasaki from Yale, she highlighted the alarming statistic that long COVID now affects more children than asthma, a clear indicator of a public health crisis. Affleck expressed her deep fear for children who may never know a world free from chronic pain, exhaustion, and cognitive damage caused by repeated COVID-19 infections. Her impassioned plea for preventative measures, comparing the fight for clean air to the successful battles against indoor smoking, urged the world to recognize filtered air as a fundamental human right. The speech has ignited a global conversation, with parents, educators, and public health advocates sharing their concerns and supporting Affleck's demands. The hashtag #LongCOVIDKids has been trending, with many sharing personal stories and demanding policy changes. Experts are emphasizing the critical need for further research and robust public health strategies to protect vulnerable populations, particularly children, from the long-term consequences of the virus. We've heard Violet's powerful words at the UN, but what exactly was the impact of her message? We'll break down the full story and its significance right after this. Violet Affleck's UN speech, a call for protection, echoes globally. At a pivotal United Nations event, 19-year-old Violet Affleck delivered a speech that has captured international attention, issuing a stark warning about the long-term health crisis facing children due to COVID-19. Her address focused on the urgent need for clean indoor air and mask usage, framing the ongoing pandemic not as a distant threat, but as a direct assault on the present and future of youth. Affleck eloquently conveyed the frustration of a generation told they are the future, yet whose present well-being is being actively undermined. She criticized the societal push towards normalcy, arguing that it relies on a deliberate ignorance of airborne virus transmission and the severe, lasting impacts of long COVID. Citing Dr. Akiko Iwasaki of Yale, she underscored the alarming rise of long COVID, now more prevalent in children than asthma, a statistic that signifies a critical public health failure. Affleck didn't mince words, expressing profound fear for children facing a lifetime of debilitating symptoms and cognitive impairment, and fury on their behalf. She passionately advocated for systemic changes, likening the push for clean indoor air to the successful implementation of anti-smoking regulations, and calling for filtered air to be recognized as a basic human right. The speech has resonated deeply, sparking widespread discussion across social media platforms and news outlets. Many are commending Affleck for her courage and clarity, while public health officials are amplifying her message, urging governments to implement stronger protective measures. The focus on children's health and the long-term consequences of the pandemic has brought renewed attention to the need for comprehensive strategies that prioritize safety and well-being for all age groups. And that's just a glimpse of the powerful stories making waves. Stick around for our rapid-fire recap and find out how you can stay connected with all the latest. And that's a wrap on today's bombshell news. We heard Violet Affleck's powerful UN speech demanding action on long COVID, Jen Affleck's hilarious encounter with Ben Affleck, and Violet's continued advocacy for children's health. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Sheeran Scoop for all the hottest updates, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Let us know in the comments which story you found most shocking. And follow us on all social media platforms to stay in the loop 24/7.